Hello, everybody. Welcome to Disc Golf Story Time number 3. Let's go back in time, back to the beginning. I was impressionable. I remember when my friends and I started playing back in probably '04. We had played for a couple years, and when I first joined the PDGA, we used to get this magazine called Disc Golfer Magazine, and somewhere in '07, '08, I got a magazine, and there was a story about Jay Redding, Yeti, some people know him as. And it was just so impressive. I mean, if you don't know him, if you're young and you don't know who he is, look him up. Imagine an offensive lineman playing disc golf. My friends and I are bigger guys. There was just something impressive about this monster that played. Watching him play back in the days where you had to get DVDs of playing to watch the pros play. He had this style in the early days that he eventually got rid of, where he would look like he would kiss the disc. He would pull it back and flip it up and do this thing, and I don't know, there was just something so impressive about him. Well, in the story, he wrote a story in Disc Golfer magazine that talked about a putt that he hit in a tournament. He won the doubles world championship, or U.S. Doubles world championship. It was a doubles championship, either U.S. or world. And in the story, he talks about how windy it was, and he had an opportunity on the to hit the last putt for the win, to win by one. And there was a pretty strong headwind. So he says in the story, so I busted out my bulldog and banged it for the win by one. And I can just, immediately I was like, well, where do you get these discs? Where do you get this bulldog? I'm getting it. And had to have it. So got into throwing the bulldog just based on that story, and I looked up to him so much. So threw him for like a year, and then went to the Brent Hambrick Memorial Open, which I talked about in the first. This was in a later year. I talked about it in the first video. Jay was there, and he had affected me so much, and I was such into that. I was so into that disc and telling people they should get it, and my friends would see it, and whenever you hit, it was DX plastic, and it was super thick rim, ridiculous, overstable, and it made this crazy noise when it hit the chains, and it's just really a cool thing. Well, anyway, so I'm not shy typically. I see opportunities, and I want to make sure that I don't miss out. So I saw Jay at this tournament, warming up, and over by his trailer, and I walk up to him and I'm like, hey man, I read that story about you in '06 hitting that putt, and it was just awesome. I got into these discs, and I'm showing him the bulldogs that I carried in my bag, and we start talking about them and stuff, and he goes, hang on a second. He goes to his trailer, roots around in some boxes, finds the actual disc that he hit that putt with, signs it, and gives it to me. Hopefully you can see that. I'm not good at this filming thing. But this is the actual disc that he hit that putt with. He just gives it to me just to be nice. I'm blown away. So then I really get into them. Was totally all about that guy at that point. What a cool dude. Anyway, so a year goes by, and he's back at the BHMO with his wife, 3-time women's Open world champion, and I think she's won at least one in Masters or 2. She's 3 to 4 to 5-time world champion. They're warming up on hole 4. My buddies and I are out there playing the course. We see him. Hey, Jay. We go over and talk to him, and then we're just all about, there was 2 different styles of this disc made, so we're talking about the bevel. One with the straight bevel was better. It was more overstable than the curved bevel, and, his wife's over there rolling her eyes at us, annoyed, and he goes, he's checking out the red one that I had at the time, and I was showing it off to him, and we're like, go ahead, and, he didn't even throw them anymore. And there was a basket. We're in the middle of a fairway. There's a basket like 200 feet away, and we go, hey, dude, why don't you try it out? Why don't you try the disc out? So he throws at a 200 feet away, throws one time with this bulldog and bangs the chains, hits it. Hits a fairway ace from 200 on his first throw. Man, what an experience. Anyway, if you ever have a chance to look him up, a chance to meet someone, chance to talk to a pro, they are so approachable, most of them, and what a sport we have here. But I just really felt like it was important to tell that story about them. You all have a good night.